Welcome to my behind the scenes video on how I made my Robert's Magic Toothbrush commercial. Backstory real quick. My church had a activity which was a film festival. Basically, we would film ourselves making a fake movie, and they also wanted us to make two or more commercials that advertised either a fake product or a fake service. I done this last year with my Darth Vader Jack Sparrow commercial and my pronounced Book of Mormon names video. So this year, I decided to, up the game as usual, and I have created what I think are really good things for this year. My hero commercial right here, please watch it if you haven't, and there's also behind the scenes on that, and the Robert's Magic Toothbrush video. Please watch that if you haven't. Basically, my Robert's Magic Toothbrush video was sort of not rushed, but my hero commercial was that sort of emotional, serious one. I wanted something that was comical and humorous and funny, but really, at least for me, technically more difficult to try to make it look good, because there's a lot of special effects, a lot of green screen work. So first off, Robert's Magic Toothbrush. The title of it makes you think, what? So basically it's like a toothbrush that's magic, which it essentially is. So basically I had originally had scripted on paper some ideas that I had originally for my commercial. In fact, before I even came up with Robert's Magic Toothbrush, I had here a bunch of different commercial ideas, which was Hero, which I actually did. And then Angry Birds basically would take the youth of my church's voices, and I'd animate a little funny 2-minute commercial of the Angry Birds talking about something. My epic YouTube video parody service. Because I make lots of YouTube videos, I'm familiar with lots of the average person on YouTube's things, which include green screen and audio recording, a nice camera, editing software, fancy titles, graphics, special effects like lightsabers, music, But basically, my idea was to advertise my services and to create the most extreme version of each situation. Weird sneeze. To create the most extreme situation, basically the idea was, I'd use my green screen, I would use editing software that's better than Windows Movie Maker, I would have sound effects, special effects, lightsabers, and all the stuff I previously mentioned. Then I had my slow motion camera service. Basically, the video camera I'm recording on right now has a slow motion feature, where it's like a high-speed camera. The only limitation is this can capture up to 3 seconds real time, and it'll slow it down to 11 to 12 seconds. I would basically offer my high-speed camera services. And I was even thinking of talking to some YouTubers called the Slow-Mo Guys. You just check out their channel right here. I could take this purple comb and throw it at the camera, so it could go bang. And then my video camera could do something like this, so kind of like that, so a bit slower. But theirs could do this. This kind of just sort of float almost, and then they play around and go, and then it get slower and slower. It would take 20 minutes just to get to there. Check out some of their videos. Their videos are absolutely awesome. Just saying. Finally, I had the Tech Warrior, which I never did use, but I was reading on a website on Google Plus, some articles linked to, basically, it says, the Tech Warrior, in which I fix my girlfriend's grandparents' Wi-Fi and am hailed a conquering hero. Basically, this guy's girlfriend's grandparents' modem shut off or needed to be reset or something, and so he describes going over to the computer to reset it, and then the internet works. I don't remember any of the lines, but basically I was going to take this epically over-exaggerated story of how he reset the modem and make him sound like a hero, and I would visually show it. However, I looked at it, and some of the things they described I didn't have or didn't know how I was going to do with limited stuff I have, so I ended up scratching that. So you know me, I like editing a lot. Ever since I created Attack of My Clones right here, which you can see, 45 minutes of sanity with a digital camera, I've managed to figure out how to do things from lightsabers using my special effects program software to green screening, which is something actually rather easy for me now. Not necessarily perfect Hollywood, but I guess pretty decent. I just basically had a bunch of things I would do that would require special effects, which included the North Pole, where I see Santa and I scare Rudolph. I had a really funny vision of that. Alaska, where there's cold snows blowing and I'm freezing and it's also almost impossible to hear me, and a moose walks past slowly. The Caribbean, where I dress up as Jack Sparrow, which is sort of a wink and a nod to my Jack Sparrow Darth Vader commercial from last year. Star Wars Planet and Star Wars Planet 2. As this one is a missionary one, basically I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and young men near my age, 18, 19, are encouraged to serve a full-time 2-year mission where we go somewhere in this world and we talk about our religion and our beliefs to other people. Then the most romantic place in the world. This is a real quick story. I've been into the movie Psych. Not movie, TV show Psych. Thanks to Nightwalker, who is on ProWord support on GT, which is the board that I use, that I browse a lot on the internet. He had told me via private message to watch Psych, and I was skeptical at first because the only other TV show I ever watch is Mythbusters. I finally decided to watch Psych. And I've now seen every single episode up until this latest season to date. And one of the many episodes, Canada? Yeah, I think it was one where they went with the British Columbia and Canada, but I'm not certain. But basically in one scene, it was Sean with Juliet, and they were on a bridge. And basically Sean was, I forget what the conversation was about, but basically Juliet said to Sean, "You do realize we are in the most romantic place in the world." Now, of course, that's more opinion, I'd say. However, I looked at the bridge and I envisioned for my Robert's Magic Toothbrush commercial, like me with a girl on the bridge, and it's all romantic and everything, and I envisioned that. However, of course, when I asked Yahoo Answers and a bunch of other people on the internet, they all said all sorts of different things. One person even said McDonald's. Following that, we had the Mushroom Kingdom. So I'm already Mario-ish, and I love Mario. In case you didn't notice, I'm just pointing out. Anyway, and so of course that was pretty easy, and I had to include Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom somehow. Roller coaster. Oh, this was a fun one. Basically, so I'm a fan of theme parks and amusement parks, and I've been to Six Flags a couple of times. Now, I get nervous around them, I guess, for lack of a better word, so I close my eyes when I'm on them, and I hold them really tight to the supports. I like them, I'm just slowly getting myself used to I managed to get my eyes open at one point. Point aside, I wanted to have myself on a roller coaster freaking out. Anyway, then I had a few others like Desert and Desert 2. Desert 1, basically I'm walking past the camera holding my hand out to block the sand as it flies past. Jail. I also had a scene where I was going to be walking around with the fake gun of myself pretending to shoot a bunch of guns, and then the cops point guns at me, or maybe there's like police lights or something, so I freak out, jail bars appear, and then boom, I'm stuck, and I'm like, oh no, what's wrong? Wild West. Oh, I forgot to do Wild West. No! Oh, that was big. Oh, dang it. It's too late now. I mean, I could probably do it, but Wild West. Basically, I really wanted to do a sort of cowboyish thing where there's another bad guy, and so it's me versus the other me, and I, pull my gun and shoot. But I never had a chance to. Dang it! Haunted house. I've always wanted to do some sort of spooky thing. Now, because little kids would be present watching it initially, I wanted to make my haunted house Not like my Robert's Halloween special 1 and 2, which you can see here, 1 and 2. But at the same time, I didn't want it to be some sort of lame, cheesy, you know, the Sim theme park spooky level. I didn't want a spooky theme. I didn't want that sort of thing. But at the same time, I wanted it to be, you know, innocent and casual. But anyway, innocent and casual, what? Then there was an explosion, which I never did finish. Basically, I see a car, a house, or something in the distance, and I'm saying I've always wanted to do this. I throw something, or I push a button, or I just walk away slowly as the scene behind me shows an explosion of fire. And I've always wanted to do that now that I have proper stock footage and editing software to do that. So I then put sunglasses on, or I already have them, and I brush my teeth while the explosion continues to happen now in slow motion. So I envision basically, and I apologize for talking really fast, I don't know why I did that, but basically I envision myself walking out, and then, you know, there's a huge explosion happening in slow motion, and I go shoo, shoo, shoo. Finally, we're coming to the actual script. So I had all those ideas, and I was trying to figure out what type of excuse I can make to actually have myself in those situations. And so my mother, thank you mother, had the idea that basically I had asked her, what's the most ordinary object you can think of that could make you magically go to these places at will? And you know, I was not certain, and then she said toothbrush. And so, you know, toothbrush. You brush your teeth, and then you get to wherever you want to go. Which I thought was brilliant, and that's why it's Robert's Magic Toothbrush. And I say that, and of course, this is unfortunate, I didn't get to include this in, but basically I was going to have a backstory about how I made the toothpaste and the toothbrush become magical. I was going to have an insane story about a scientific experiment gone wrong by the discovery of the toothbrush and toothpaste. I misspelled toothbrush as toothbrush. And paste ability. The ending, originally based on the script here, I hope you have been impressed with my amazing toothbrush's powers. It's amazing what some insert scientific sounding names here can do. Do you want one of your own? I know you do. Just call me at the phone number moving around below, or go to my website at the URL below. I hope you consider one, as they could be a lot of fun to use and to play with. Imagine the possibilities with one of these things. Why, I'd even go as far as to suggest, and it pauses. Or rather, instead of pausing, I get interrupted by my mother, who calls my name. The camera will then zoom out to show I'm in front of a green screen, simply to imply or suggest that all the examples were just fake. And then I whine that I was almost finished, and she scowls me for my silly games. Before the screen goes dark, it zooms in on her, and she says, well, at least he's brushing his teeth.